Straight ahead on CCX News, after the announcement, now what's next for the Brooklyn Center Sears site? We'll hear from the mayor and a local retail expert. Plus, a treat with a golden surprise. We'll explain the Brooklyn Park Police Department's new way of building community. But first, peace of mind lost at a Robbinsdale home. It's a story that comes with a summer warning for other homeowners. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Robbinsdale police are investigating a home burglary and a theft of a dog.
Now, the incident happened early Thursday morning in the 3900 block of Halifax Avenue North. Reporter Sonia Goins has more.
Your house is supposed to be a safe place.
Chelsea Curry is still trying to wrap her head around what happened at her home early Thursday morning.
I started to look around the house and I was like, there's no computers, all of our stuff's gone.
Chelsea, her boyfriend, and their 3 young children were all asleep when the burglary occurred.
If we would have came down the stairs, they were prepared for us to wake up. We were not prepared for somebody to be in our house.
The family thinks the burglar or burglars may have come through this window. When they went to bed, they cracked the window, but when they got up, it was wide open.
This was tipped over, and so I didn't realize that the screen was gone.
The burglars took an Xbox video game system, 2 laptop computers, a cell phone, and watches. They then made their way downstairs to where the daughter and a dog were sleeping.
To know that they came in and took the dog, which is like a part of your family member, they could have taken anybody.
Shermie's a 3-month-old boxer mix. He's a foster dog from Rough Start Rescue.
He came up from a bad situation in Oklahoma, and so we've been fostering him for like a month and a half.
The burglars also stole one of the family's vehicles.
They took my car, just as a getaway. Ended up finding it 2 miles away from here.
Jovan Moore says a tracking device showed the car stopped off at several locations, including the Super America in Crystal. But to Jovan, material things don't matter when he thinks about his dog.
They could have kept this, left the dog. I don't even care. They could have took our other car, left the dog. I wouldn't have cared.
The burglars also walked off with something much more valuable, the family's peace and security.
Any sound, any creak, you're like looking around to see what's gonna happen. Who is that?
We just want our dog. That's all. Our peace of mind will come back with prayer.
In Robbinsdale, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
As we went to air on Friday, no arrests had been made. Police say the case serves as a reminder to shut your windows, especially if you are asleep or not at home. Well, news this week that Sears plans to close 63 more stores across the country has many people wondering what will happen to the site of the Brooklyn Center Sears store that's closing.
Sears owns the building and the land in Brooklyn Center, and there's an interesting twist since the ailing retail giant still owns hundreds of stores.
You've got all this real estate and sales that have been declining. So they keep closing stores. But what makes Sears a little bit different is what do you do with all the real estate? And what has happened is the CEO of Sears, Edward Lampert, has a hedge fund on the side, which is unusual. And that hedge fund is trying to buy the real estate out of Sears, including not just the stores that are closed, but including the stores that are existing.
It's possible redevelopment of the Sears site could happen more quickly because of the land situation. It's a valuable site near the Shingle Creek Crossing development, and University of Minnesota marketing professor George Johns says it's common for a variety of smaller businesses to move in where a big box once stood. Brooklyn Center Mayor Tim Wilson hopes the site doesn't sit idle for too long, but it is out of the city's control since Sears owns it.
Whatever goes in there has to be compatible with Shingle Creek Crossing. You wouldn't want to see a 10-story structure of some sort, that isn't business or commercial or something on that order.
The mayor estimates redevelopment of the Sears site could require close to $100 million. Candidates for Representative Joyce Pepin's seat are starting to trickle in.
Pepin announced she is resigning to focus on a new job, and she served as House Majority Leader, which is the second most powerful post in the state House. And so far, one Republican and one DFL candidate have filed for the seat. Republican Kristen Robbins of Maple Grove is a parent of 3 children and is the deputy chair of the Senate District 34 Republicans. DFLer Dan Solon of Rogers is a father of 2 who previously served in the Navy. The deadline to file for the seat is Tuesday, June 5th.
A Republican state senator from Plymouth says one of the successes in the state bonding bill is money for Second Harvest Heartland to help end hunger in Minnesota. The nonprofit supplies food to food shelves across the state and is in need of a larger facility.
Second Harvest Heartland is building a new distribution center in Brooklyn Park, right here in CCX land. And I mean, you're talking about a statewide impact few bonding projects actually have. This is an $18 million project, but overall, in the bonding bill, overall it's a $50 million project that touches cities from Ada to Zumbrota, touches all 87 counties in the state, and all those food shelves.
Anderson says another success from the past legislative session is the $9.7 million in state money to replace and rebuild the Rockford Road Bridge over I-494 in Plymouth. And one other success Anderson mentions is the dedication of Highway 12 in Wayzata as Officer Bill Matthews Memorial Highway. The police officer was killed on the job by a distracted and impaired driver. Upcoming priorities for Senator Anderson include tax conformity and addressing the state's workforce shortage.
We're seeing this in many industries, especially when it comes to precision manufacturing, in healthcare, in IT, and in agriculture. We're still an ag state. And you're seeing about 20 to 30% vacancies in a lot of these jobs. And we have to step up both in public education, E12, higher education, technical schools, in our trades, in our industry, in our organizations to come together and find ways to recruit people into these jobs.
On Monday, we will hear from DFL Representative Mike Freiberg of Golden Valley.
Residents in downtown Osseo will soon see new banners along Central Avenue, and while the final version hasn't been approved, they will look similar to the ones you see here. An artist who designed the city's logo came up with the design. The city actually held a banner contest but received only 2 submissions, which the city council declined. Still ahead, Brooklyn Park Police used candy bars to make connections.
And plus, highlights from the Section 6 track and field finals as local athletes race to the state meet.
But first, you may want to make alternative plans on Saturday. Heavy rain is expected.
Well, what do you do with a gift of more than 6,500 candy bars?
Now, Brooklyn Park Police are using them to make connections in the community this summer. It started with boxes and boxes of candy bars that came as a gift from Walmart.
When they called us and said, we've got 6,500 candy bars, we said, well, we can definitely give them away. We don't really know how yet, but yeah, absolutely. So we went and picked them up.
And that led to an idea about how to go behind the badge and make connections outside of enforcing the law. Each candy bar is wrapped with a Brooklyn Park Police logo and a brief description of someone on the force, like Juan Sanchez, who works in the detention facility. You'll find out he has a wife, 2 children, and is a big Twins baseball fan.
Really, we're seeing a fundamental philosophical shift in policing, right? And what the candy bars do is when you open a candy bar, you learn a little bit about the department. You learn a little bit about one of our staff members, whether that be sworn or non-sworn, and you really learn about them personally. It humanizes them.
In addition to learning something personal about someone on the force, there's also a chance for a special prize. Somewhere inside 5 of these candy bars is a golden ticket for prizes, including a day of training with the SWAT team, a birthday party inside the police department, or even a bike.
All of our units have these candy bars, as well as our patrol officers when they're out there during their shift and they come across anybody. And it's not just kids, adults, anybody. They can hand out these candy bars and have one of those opportunities to connect.
But make no mistake, candy bars are a kid magnet. Watch what happens when an officer brought a handful to the Zane Recreation Center.
I got more in the car. Who wants some chocolate?
It's certainly a hit on this playground. The department got the idea from community input.
We don't want to just be the bad guy all the time. We don't want to always look like the bad guy. We want to create those opportunities where we get the space to be the good guy. We get the space to look like the good guy.
And those rare golden ticket prizes are age appropriate and range from lunch with a chief to training with a canine unit.
Still ahead, a backyard getaway that ends in a splash.
But first, Hopkins and Edina battle in 2 marathon games without a winner. Jay Wilcox explains next in sports.
I'm Jay Wilcox with sports. Spots in the state track and field meet were on the line for track and field athletes in Section 6AA Thursday. Orono, the site for this meet. The boys 4x800 relay, the Wayzata team of Andrew Brandt, Mitchell Tolander, Frank Fetro, and Tommy Leeson win with a time of 7:55.65. The girls 4x200 relay is a great race to the finish between Minnetonka's Faith Robinson and Hopkins' Elena Contreras. Robinson wins by 0.02 of a second. Hopkins dominates in the boys 4x200 as Joe Fonbala anchors the Royals to the victory. In the 1600, Wayzata's Khalid Hussein takes gold with a time of 4:16.57. He also wins the 3200. In the boys discus, Wayzata senior Charlton Johnston wins with a best of 1:45.10. He wins the section title. To the boys high jump, Hopkins' King Allah wins with a best of 6 feet 4 inches. He also wins the long jump and is on 2 winning relay teams. Girls triple jump. On her final attempt, Wayzata's Madeline Tapper goes 37 feet to qualify for state. She'll also go to state in the long jump. The Wayzata boys were first and Hopkins second in the team standings. Wayzata's girls finished second behind Minnetonka. We'll have highlights of the Section 5AA meet coming up Monday on our Sports Jam show. Well, local golfers were also taking aim at spots at state. Many of our local teams are in Section 5-3A. This is Peyton Miller of Maple Grove lining up the putt on West hole number 8 at Bunker Hills. Miller finishes second with a 2-day total of 147. His teammate Dylan Hansen comes up with a great approach shot on West hole 9, dropping it within a foot of the cup, leading to a par. Hansen is third with a total of 150. Nate Adams of the Crimson lines up a par putt and makes it on West 7. He places fifth as Maple Grove dominates on the way to the section title. We check out the scores. Maple Grove breezes to the win by 36 strokes. Mounds View is second, followed by Spring Lake Park and Roseville. The Crimson had 5 golfers in the top 10. To the girls, and this is Champlain Park's Taylor Ullen teeing off at the links of North Fork in the 5-3A tourney. She helps the Rebels finish second. Her teammate Megan Muniche with a nice chip on the second hole. It leads to a par for Muniche as she is headed to state after placing third with a 159 total. Lauren Contreras of Maple Grove rolls the par putt home on the second hole. Contreras places 7th to qualify for state. Sydney Schulte of Maple Grove is also state bound. She shoots a 171 total to place 8th. Roseville dominates the team competition. Champlain Park is second, but 78 shots back. Maple Grove places 4th. In Section 6 softball, Hopkins was in position to advance to the state tournament for a 3rd straight season. Edina needing 2 wins to advance to state. Hopkins just won. First inning, the Hornets' Hannah Sundom with a single pass second and into right center. Molly McHugh and Allie May both score. It's 2-0 Edina. Later in that inning, Maddie Johnson delivers a single to left field. Sundom and Katie Olive both score, and it's 4-0 Hornets after 1. The Royals start a rally in the 5th. Macy Shadarishvili drives a ball to left and over the outfielder's head. Lauren Granger and Morgan Hawley score to pull Hopkins within 5-3, but that's as close as the Royals get. Edina goes on to win 13-8 to force a second game. The Hornets ready to go in game 2 as they look for a sweep. After falling behind again, Hopkins takes the lead. Ruth Freiberg singles to right, brings in 2 runs to give Hopkins a 3-2 lead. Then leading at 5-2 in inning number 6, 8th grade catcher Granger puts a big swing into one. She rips a 2-run homer to left. Hopkins seems to be in control. They lead at 7-2. But Edina rallies in the bottom of the 6th. Olive comes through with a big 2-out base hit. Katie Simon scores, tying the game up at 7. The game goes extra innings with each team scoring a single run in the 10th. But after 11 innings, the game is suspended because of darkness. And they're picking the game up in the top of the 12th Friday afternoon, right at this taping of CCX News, to determine the champion. Like Hopkins, Champlain Park softball team needed one win to claim a section title Thursday, but the Rebels did not fare so well, losing both games of the Section 5 4A championship to Centennial. The Cougars won the first game 9-5 to force a second game for the title, and Centennial won another high-scoring battle 15-7 to advance to state. That's all for sports. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jay. Coming up next, cooling off with a splash.
Our Backyard Getaways Summer Series returns when we come back.
Finally tonight, a popular summer feature is back on CCX.
It is the start of Backyard Getaways. Eric Nelson guarantees us this story will make a splash.
It's time for another season of Backyard Getaways. And in our first episode, we're going to take you to some of the coolest pads in town.
They are called splash pads. They are free, they are simple, and they are trendy.
You hear lots of screeching, excitement from kiddos. They're laughing. It's fun. Everyone's racing to turn it back on.
We checked out 3 in the northwest suburbs and discovered that these pads are a great way to escape the blazing summer sun. Our first stop was Manor Park in Robbinsdale.
And our particular one is kind of for all ages.
Hi!
This pad is a magnet, pulling in plenty of kids who enjoy playing in the dancing water.
And we have a great day today because it's warm out and you can see families are enjoying. Mothers are sitting there and they can enjoy watching their kids have a safe option and they keep cool.
By mid-morning, crowds were building and it was time for fun in the sun.
This one's great, a new discovery for us.
Jessica Bearding and her kids came all the way from New Brighton just to cool off.
And they can explore and I don't have to worry about them, and they can just do their thing, get as wet as they want or not.
Oh, this is one of the best ones because there's a park right beside it.
Our next splash stop was Andrews Park in Champlain.
Oh, it's awesome, and the moms can sit and just relax. We don't have to get in the water. Yeah, it's wonderful.
There are plenty of cool features at Andrews, which was voted best water park by a local newspaper.
You know, in Minnesota, you should be here as often as you can. It's awesome.
Besides H2O fun, Andrews also has a concession stand and a nearby playground.
This splash pad is a fantastic addition to the city. We've got 49 jet sprays, 18 of the arch sprays.
Our final splashdown was at Central Park in Maple Grove.
A lot of people have come a long way. They've heard about the fountain, they come in, and the great part about it is we don't charge to use it.
This pad is cutting edge.
So we're not wasting water, just recycling it.
I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
If that doesn't make you eager for the weekend, I don't know what will, right?
Yeah, it beats the sprinkler in the yard.
Yeah,
right?
that's for sure. That does it for us.
See you next week.